Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be looking at a quick proof for God's existence. And as we get into that, I just wanted to share, I just went to this new movie called The Sound of Freedom a few nights ago. And if you haven't gone to it, I highly recommend that you do. It's actually based on a true story of a man named Tim Ballard who, through danger and all these types of crazy things, rescued two siblings out of sex trafficking. And it was just a great movie, so I recommend that you go. But you might be wondering, how does a movie tie into the existence of God? Well, one thing I realized as I was sitting in the theater is that no one in the theater was just thinking, man, I personally really don't prefer rape and sex trafficking and people stealing children away from their parents.
But that's just my personal preference, and so if other people want to do that, I guess that's okay.
Right? Nobody was thinking that. We were all thinking, this is horrific, this is terrible, and it's wrong, not just for me, and it's not just wrong for you, it's wrong for everyone, everywhere at all times. And the interesting thing about that is once you make that sort of a claim, you're making an objective claim, an objective truth claim. But the thing about an objective truth claim is that it can only exist if there is something that says it's right and wrong, and it has to be outside of human nature, because all humans have different preferences. So for something to be objectively true, it would have to be outside of nature, and something that's outside of nature would mean it's supernatural. So this would be a supernatural being or thing that has set up a moral law that makes it right or wrong for us to do specific things objectively.
He's right, you know.
Now, just for an illustration, let's just say if there's no moral lawgiver, then there's no moral law. And if there's no moral law, then there's no way for us to differentiate between what's right and wrong. And if we can't differentiate between right and wrong, well, then there is no such thing as right and wrong. But we know that that's not true. We know that rape and racism and murder and these injustices are wrong for everyone, everywhere, at all times, which means that there is a moral lawgiver. Now, this moral lawgiver seems to perfectly line up with the God of the Bible, the God of Christianity that we read about. And a verse that I found that I think just speaks to this is from Deuteronomy 32, verse 4, and it says, "He is the rock, his works are perfect, and all his ways are just. A faithful God who does no wrong, upright and just is he." You see, this being that created the moral law himself would have to be perfect, would have to be moral. And that's exactly what the Bible says God is, who God is. And so when you go to this movie, when you're watching The Sound of Freedom, know this. There is objective wrong. What is happening in this movie is objectively wrong. It is actually evil because God does exist.